Fact, we've been tracking all the reactions from all over India and industry with regard to the union budget. It's now been presented. Lots of positives in the budget, a sense of the government being upbeat and confident about where they are. It's not a big bang budget in that sense. It's an incremental budget which follows up on what the government has been doing for the last couple of terms. I'm joined now by a very special guest, Amitabh Kant, with us, and Mr. Ashok Sehgal also with us in the studio. But Mr. Kant, let me come to you first. And you know, for years now, Mr. Kant, we've had discussions where we talk about the need for reskilling, job creation, job development. You know what the economic survey had to say about 70 lakh odd jobs needing to be created every single year for the next 20 years. With the financial allotment now and the steps which have been introduced, do you believe we are in the right trajectory to enable that to take place?
See, the important thing, Vishnu, is that while we've been creating jobs, largely those jobs have been in the agriculture sector, and they're poorly paid jobs. So you need to create jobs out of agriculture. You need to shift a large segment of your population away from agriculture into manufacturing. What this budget does is to look at providing, it's a catalyst for providing employment in manufacturing sector, because it gives the benefit to both employer and the employee. It gives the benefit, through another scheme, it gives a benefit to the first-time employees of 1 month's salary. And then there's a separate benefit, third scheme, which for employers, that they will get a benefit of 3,000 rupees for the next 2 years on every employment that they do. So the budget actually, if you look at it, in addition to the centrally sponsored scheme for skilling 25 lakh youth, and the remodeling of ITIs, etc., and also a huge focus on women skilling, actually provides a completely new dimension to both employment and skilling.
A lot of people, you and I included, would have hoped for less taxes to pay. Who doesn't? But that said, the fact that the government is trying to fix the entire tax structure, and they've said in 6 months the entire tax code will be changed. That's an impressive target, very difficult to achieve. But once that does happen, how does that actually help us in terms of economic growth?
No, so, predictability, consistency, stability, easiness, simplicity, these are the hallmarks of a great government. And, making India easy and simple, making the tax regime very stable, easy, bringing in stability of policy across sectors, that is what the government's job is. The policy design must be correct and right. There may be, some people may not like it, but I think that is the way a good government needs to work if India has to grow at high rates of 8 to 9% over a 3-decade period. And that is what the government is attempting to do in the tax structure. And it's very, very important because, the GST simplification has helped us. Bringing in GST, which is paperless, cashless, has helped us enormously. And now with this direct tax regime getting simplified, that will enable India to become an easy and simple nation. One of the major challenges plaguing India has been on the tax regime, the complexity of it. The more and more simple, the more and more easy we'll make it very predictable and consistent.
The Defence Minister Rajnath Singh has just tweeted a little while back, Nirmala Sitharaman didn't talk about the defence budget. We've got the breakup through the Defence Minister, who says that the defence budget is 12.9% of the total budget of the Government of India. That is very substantial. But as a percentage of GDP, India's defence allocation is still quite low. And I say this because look at China. It is a constant concern for us. But what is impressive is the capital outlay to indigenous acquisitions, indigenous capital acquisitions, and the push towards Atmanirbharta. So two aspects of that question. a high financial allocation, but as a percentage of GDP low, and secondly, the push towards Atmanirbharta continues?
So, firstly, Vishnu, it's very important that India spends money on education, health, nutrition. Now, the finance minister obviously cannot go around giving outlays of every sector. It's written in the budget. So, rightly, the defense sector budget has gone up. But more important is that the huge focus on Atmanirbharta and Make in India. One of the remarkable stories of India in the last few years has been that from a hugely importing nation, we used to import all our defense needs. We've now become a nation which has pushed startups in defense, which is indigenized on defense. We are now exporting our defense in a very big way. Our defense exports are one of the fastest growing sectors, and they have enormously benefited the economy. So I think that's what we need to do, push for manufacturing in the defense sector. And if once defense manufacturing takes over, it has a huge spin-off on several other sectors of the economy.
All right, Amitabh Kant, wonderful speaking to you. Thanks very much for being with us. One final question, Mr. Kant. Rate the budget 1 to 10. Where would you place it? And don't say 10 now. That's a bit unrealistic. Where would you place the budget?
Well, I'd rate it very high. I'm not in a numbers game, but I'd rate it really an excellent budget, because it's not a budget for today, but it's a budget for long-term growth of India. It's also a budget which focuses on growth with employment. It's also a very progressive, pragmatic budget. So I'd really like to compliment Finance Minister for a truly outstanding budget.